everyone, this video will show a crisis that has occurred in Riau, Province, Indonesia. Yes, forests and land fires, our Indonesian people call it KARHUTLA. KARHUTLA is a natural phenomenon that is familiar to our ears. It is noted that Indonesia is a country that has a fairly high frequency of KARHUTLA. The disaster has become an annual crisis, which of course causes great losses to both humans and the ecosystems in the forests. When viewed from history, here are some records regarding the biggest forest fire events in Indonesia. First, the 1997-1998 forest fires, which occurred in Riau and Kalimantan, became one of the largest cases of forest fires in the world, which scorched nearly 20 million hectares and caused the loss of biodiversity, and the entire region of Southeast Asia became dark. Second, forest fires of 1982-1983, the disaster that occurred in East Kalimantan was recorded as the second largest forest fire in Indonesia. Third, the 2006 forest fires, where more than 3 million hectares of land burned. Fourth, the 2015 forest fires, which consumed more than 2.6 million hectares in Sumatra, Kalimantan, and 29 other provinces. Fifth, forest fires 2019. This fire adds to the historical record of the biggest forest fires in Indonesia. In recent years, the health crisis has become a serious issue in Riau Province, Indonesia throughout 2019. Forest fires usually occur during the transition period or during the dry season, plus the type of peatland area make it difficult to extinguish the fire. Reporting from Liputan6.com Jakarta, the Riau Province Regional Disaster Management Agency noted that the area of land burned in the Riau region from early January to September 2019 reached 6,425.39 hectares. This is because in a number of areas every day there are always fires. The crisis has caused environmental damage, air pollution, and the emergence of acute respiratory infection (RE). Besides being transnational environmental pollution, the heat that is generated from forest and land fires in Indonesia has also affected the survival and economic activity of some other countries within the ASEAN region. Therefore, the Indonesian government has made several efforts to prevent, reduce, and control the forest and land fires through several regulations, namely Plantation Act, Health Agreement, Forest Act, and Environmental Act. However, these efforts were not enough to end the crisis. The proof is that forest and land fires continue to occur every year. The ongoing forest fires have led to demonstrations by students and the local community demanding the government's seriousness in dealing with this crisis in a more serious manner. That's the crisis that happened in Riau, Indonesia in 2019. And then, in 2023, the governor of Riau, Syamsuar, conducted a review and asked the KARHUTLA task force team to remain vigilant. And it is known that at this time Riau has declared an emergency alert status for KARHUTLA, which is valid for 9 months, starting from 13 February to 30 November 2023. This is done because there is still a potential for forest and land fires in Riau. Even though the government has taken preventive measures by making various regulations, forest fires and has continued to record to this day. Based on observation, the cause of the failure is the Indonesian government's failure to prevent annual forest and land fires. The first reason is the lack of public awareness. Communities have a role to play in reducing the number of fires in Indonesia. Communities can carry out patrols and surveillance to carry out early responses to land and forest fires. Unfortunately, public awareness is still very low. Economic motives are the second reason for forest and land fires in Riau. As stated by the Riau police, this happened because the clearing of plantation land by burning forests did not need to cost a lot. The economical use of fire is very cheap and easy from a technical and economical point of view. The third reason is the lack of law enforcement. There are various laws and laws related to the prohibition of forest fires. However, law enforcers have not fully utilized the criminal threat to address this issue. Corruption often occurs, for example, when there are parties who want to thwart the investigation process, so they have to be suddenly dismissed without adequate reasons. Apart from that, light sanctions related to the revocation of company permits also occurred because similar companies with different names received new permits in Riau in the next few months. Then, what actions should be taken to prevent it from happening again? As Indonesian President Joko Widodo said, the action that must be taken is prevention. Preventive measures must be taken from all walks of life, be it the community, security forces, local government, and central government. Legal officials must also act decisively against the companies and individuals involved. Apart from that, what we can also do is through environmental communication by maximizing the main elements of community participation, such as holding events, campaigning for hashtag movements, and informing various social media to mobilize all Indonesian people to prevent land forest fires from happening again. With awareness of the goodness of the environment from every element of society without being based on personal interests, let's create a safe and healthy Indonesia, free from KARHUTLA.